All right, everybody, welcome to the hoetohusbandpodcast. I'm your host, Terry Durine. I got my co-host on the line with me today. I got my man, Jay Bob, in the building. What's good, bro?
Not much, man. See, we got SD missing this week, but we definitely hope to have him back on the next episode here. Man, excited for this football season, fantasy football and just NFL in general. I think a lot of us been waiting for that. But just want to quickly remind you can catch us on YouTube as well as follow us on TikTok at Hold Us on Podcast. And for those interested in shout outs or promos, you can shoot us a DM on IG at Hold Us on Podcast, as well as email us at holdusonpodcast@gmail.com. All right, T.
I want to give a shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us laced with our background music. I want to remind everybody to continue supporting the podcast or our Cash App and our PayPal. We definitely appreciate the support. And I want to remind everybody that y'all can actually catch the audio playback of the podcast every Monday afternoon at 4 p.m. Central Standard Time on the core94.com. Now, today's episode is titled Wired to Connect. And we're going to be just having a conversation about why so many of the decisions and choices in our behaviors are actually indications or results of our desire to be connected with other people. So I thought I saw some stuff this recently that I wanted to discuss in relation to that. But y'all know how we do around here, man. We like to discuss stuff that we've seen trending on our timelines. We got some really good videos this week. This first video is a video I saw a couple of times. I'm sorry, I don't know the guy's name that's speaking in the video, but it was a real powerful clip about women posting stuff for lustful attention. Let's take a look.
I can't agree with you saying, "Ooh, I look fine today. Let me post it for the world to see." Because what are you posting it for? To get that attention. It's as simple as that. There's no other reason to post. Now, I'm going to ask y'all this. If a dude tell y'all, you can post the same stuff you've been posting. Post whatever you want. But make your page private and delete all males off your page that's not family member. How would you feel about a dude saying that?
That's controlling.
So you would think he tripping?
Yes, that's controlling.
Trinity, you would think he tripping?
I would. I'm not gonna.
So
Narcissistic.
Okay. They just said they posting for themselves. They doing it just because it look good. They just said it's not no unloyal aspect to this. But when we take males out of the equation, you the bad guy. But before you take them out of the equation, they just posting for themselves. It can't be for y'all sales, and it can't be just because you feel good, because I'm still saying, babe, post it. Baby, do your thing. Post whatever you want to post, however many times you want to post it. Let's just take the men that might pose a threat to our relationship or trying to get in between what we got going. Let's take them out the picture. Now I'm tripping. So don't they click in y'all head that, maybe I'm not just doing it just for me. Or maybe I'm not just doing it just because I feel good. Can we agree to that now?
I still can't.
We can't agree to that.
So even with the most basic logic and the most basic evidence, it's very difficult to get women to agree about certain things. But what he's saying is totally true. And I don't know why women have such a problem admitting truths like this when it's common sense. Because the reason that you do those things is for attention. And I think about it, a lot, because I don't know if it's because I studied social media in college or whatnot, but and with me being married, if I was single, I would definitely be posting totally different content related to getting flirtatious comments and checking to see who's interested in me. Like, it would be shirtless pictures. I'd be posting after I work out. I'd be posting my tats. I'd be posting the stuff that you do when you are single to attract others. And so women that do that, to me, they're shot, low key, keeping their options open and hoping to attract somebody better than they man, whether they admit it or not.
Absolutely. I mean, this is funny. Like, women won't be honest about it, right? I mean, look. Women know that without any sort of sex appeal, they would be irrelevant and just invisible to most guys, right? They know most guys aren't checking for her if she's not posting something and she doesn't necessarily have to be half naked per se, But you notice the way women take stuff. They post in certain angles. They have that fly dress on, or fly outfit. She did her makeup and posted. You're telling me she's not posting that for any sort of attention? She's just posting it for herself. Come on, we all know that.
That's the nonsense part of it. But it's not just for the people that you want to attract. Obviously, you're gonna be judged by other women too. You know what I mean? Like, so the things that men and women learn about the opposite sex obviously contributes to the content that they create.
Right.
Men, being a physically attractive man, having, being in shape, having muscles and all that, that's one aspect of it. But a lot of guys have figured out that if you can show wealth, or that you can provide a stable lifestyle, or even give the illusion that you can, that also goes a long way towards being able to at least attract women in the short term to get in a position to be able to have a chance to smash, which is ultimately what most guys want anyway. Like their dating goals are drastically different than women's. So women don't really realize how easy it is for them to fit the criteria for fun and sex. You know what I mean? That's why they're so confused about the actual dating market and where they're staying and what actually the men that they actually want to be with, how those men view them.
No, absolutely. And I think women confuse it all the time of, men that are lusting after them and men that actually want them. Like I said, they know they post these pictures for attention, right? They I mean, even if she's not even cute, there's men in those comments or DMs. I'd be willing to bet money that there are. There's at least, even if it's a lot, it's at least 5.
Well, that's going to naturally happen for somebody that's attractive. But yes, lustful attention it feels really good. You know what I'm saying? Like, who don't want to get their own, somebody tooting your horn, telling you how much they find you attractive or whatnot. But what I really, I think another factor is I was a hoe for a long time when I was young. If I didn't know what it was like to just be smashing hoes and having a, like if I didn't live that through college and the army and all that, I wouldn't be able to resist it now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
How could you, because that's what most guys grow up dreaming about. You know what I'm saying? Like, to be able to see a chick that everybody, 9 out of 10 dudes in the room would smash, and that's the chick that like you. Like those are the type of things that give a man an ego and make you feel good. And so having confidence, what I'm saying, I think a large part of that, at least for me, is knowing how I know what I could do on the dating market, what I'm saying, with my income and how I look and all, what I'm saying, all that. So I don't need to do the thirst trap. I don't need to do all that to get the attention to check and test the temperature, because I already know what it is. And I think a lot of guys, if you just now coming into that, you're just now getting followers and all that, man, you're gonna abuse the situation a little bit.
Ain't gonna know what to do. Yeah, exactly. Well, like, especially with a page like yours, you have hundreds of thousands of followers. You've had some viral posts. So you could easily slide in. If you were single, you could easily slide in, or somebody be sliding it into yours. Right, you would use that and you would know how to use that to your advantage. You already got the game plan, you got the strategy and everything set up for it. But I would say, as far as lust and attention for women is like a drug. It becomes addicting. Like, attention for women is like the equivalent of a male orgasm. That's what attention is for women. Like, women, if a woman goes into, women want to go somewhere where they can feel they're going to get attention. They will, whether, whatever social settings they go to, they want to be somewhere where they're going to get attention. They don't want to go somewhere where they're not going to get attention.
I mean, I can relate to that to some degree. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But as far as like the lustful attention part of it, back, early in my marriage, I was working on my first novel, Game Recognized Game. And I was allowing people to read the first couple of chapters of the book as I was working on it. So it was like the preview. So it was a thing where I was emailing, men and women, emailing people to like the first 10 chapters, and letting, say like the conversations that it sparked or whatnot. Because I'm pretty sure I told the story sometime before about when I was, same thing. I had printed out the first couple chapters of the book, and I was working at a debt collection center. So we were passing around the first couple chapters of the book or whatnot. And man, it sparked so much sexual energy and sexual conversation. So that creating lustful attention, I saw it on a magnified scale. Because what happened, man, it's crazy. It almost got a lot of people fired because I don't know who did it, but like it was probably like 400 people that worked at this call center, right?
Okay.
And so the papers were printed out where people was check it out, man. T wrote this book, and so somebody created a sex survey. Like they took a blank piece of paper, wrote down like 20 questions. Have you ever sucked more than one penis in a day? And like all kind of crap. How many orgasms have you had? Like all kind of like very personal, explicit questions. And so what people were doing is they was writing their name on the top of a paper and then answering every question and adding that to the stack. So what people was doing was they was reading the preview to the book, getting turned on, getting their brains all in a sexual mode. Then they read surveys from all their coworkers. You know what I'm saying? And then they added to it. Bro, after about 2-3 weeks, the stack of papers was probably about 60, 70 papers deep.
You had a book within itself.
And the crazy part, somebody left it on their desk while they went to lunch. And their manager snatched it up. Bro, when I say it created like a massive panic at the whole, you know what I'm saying? Like HR's involved and but it was so many people that had created a survey, they couldn't afford to fire everybody. So what they did was they made us all come in and sign a paper. Like they changed the policy on being able to read material, read books at your desk and all that type of stuff. And it was a result of the lustful thoughts and attention that I was able to create with Game Recognized Game. So that, if anybody's an expert on that, I could say it's your boy.
I think I might go get that. I'm going to read myself. Now, hold on. Before you start putting before you put out those books, right? Was the attention you got before and after, was it different? Like, did everybody look like that?
I mean, yeah, because the book is written in first person, and so a lot of the feedback from women, you know what I'm saying, like most people thought it was about me and my roommate, and then it just sparks all these kind of curiosity questions like, is that you? Is that you in the book? Is that you? Is that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it created some inappropriate conversations and activity. But a lot of my friends, that's how they use the book. Like they would, from the cover to everything, they would have it sitting on their coffee table, and just the conversations that the first chapter or two sparked. Like you could literally have a chick over and read the first 2 chapters with her, and I'd say 7 or 8 out of 10 times it's gonna be a sexual vibe after that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so a lot of mental gymnastics and that goes into it. But those are the same type of things that happen when you one-on-one with a chick. I just never knew that you could do it from women reading stuff. But bro, when I say at that job, women I had never spoke to, you know what I'm saying? Older, I was probably 20 something or early 30s at the time. I'm talking about women in their 40s and 50s. Like, man, I was fucking my husband thinking about your book. In chapter 6, man, I was so wet. Like, just women I never spoke to before was saying stuff like that to me. So that's really the motivation that made me finish the book. Because I was like, damn, if this is 10 chapters and we about to get fired over that, what happened if I actually finished? So that was and the shout outs for the book. I gave a shout out to all the people I worked with. but that was the fueling force that made me finish it and ultimately kind of led to what I'm doing now. So yeah, man, that and the feel, I felt so good getting that reaction out of men and women, people that hated to read, never read a book before, you know what I'm saying? Like telling you their favorite author, or they so interested in your product. It was addictive, and I had, like I said, I can't go into a lot of details, but it created a lot of inappropriate behavior.
But it goes back to the point what you said. You can relate, right, of how addicted attention can be, especially and now you felt that to some degree. You can just imagine what some of these women are posting, especially if they're attractive, and what they post, and the type of attention that they get, how addictive that.
Honestly, bro, like to me, when I think about that, because whenever we have these kind of thoughts, we kind of do like what I would do if I was in that position, right? And one of my best friends is a lesbian, so we kind of had these conversations where she'll have a bad chick that's trying to have sex with her. She's like, I ain't having sex with everybody, and she's real restricted and all this. So I just, it frustrates me. You're like, what are you doing? Why didn't you smash? So we have this kind of disconnect on that. But to me, I can't even imagine what it's like being an attractive woman where you have random people that you probably might find attractive that just want to give you head, just want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, but that's because I'm a guy and I value just busting a nut in sex. I don't place no emotion on it. I don't give my hopes up. I don't want it to be a relationship. So when we look at it, we like, I can't even imagine that. You know what I'm saying? Like anytime I got horny, I'd just be going through my phone type like I did as a guy. So it's hard for me to relate to that because in high school, college, any attractive woman is gonna constantly have dudes trying to smash or give her sexual pleasure.
Right. So, now, I guess for her, she's looking at it from an emotional standpoint. Like, if she has an emotional connection to that woman, where you're just like, nah, she cute. Hey, look, I'm trying to get in the bed here.
Well, I think that's shifted a lot now because it's kind of more predicated on what they can get from you or what you can do for them or whatnot.
Unfortunately.
So I think that's how things go these days. But you know what I'm saying? Like guys don't figure out a way to get it in because men are men and women are women. So the things that it takes to be able to actually spark a vibe ain't ever gonna change. And being the dude that can get a chick one-on-one and have a conversation to be interested in you, like that's not that hard to do. You know what I mean? Like you ain't gotta be the brightest crayon in the box to be able to do it, which is why so many guys that are uneducated and don't have a lot of intellect in other areas can still attract women. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of comes naturally. All right, let's keep things rolling, man. This next video is a little longer than we typically do, but it was such a good video. I wanted to discuss it on the podcast. I found out after I posted it, the guy talking in the video, his name is D-Smoke, is at D-Smoke7. I think he's probably a professional former athlete, but his video is talking about the relationship cycle. Let's take a look.
Me and my wife, we have a beautiful relationship, but we have to go through counseling and learn how to do it all the time. And part of something that we learned in counseling was it's this continuous cycle of connection, break, and repair. Like it's nonstop. Expect it. Don't get to one stage and be like, be mad that that's happening. No, expect it. So if you expect each stage, then it's like you can choose in the same way that you expect somebody to play defense when you on offense. So you choose to be unbothered by they little checks or if they reach for the ball. Like I've seen it, like a little push on the post, you ain't even worried about it. You ignore it, So that was something that put it in perspective recently because we've seen each stage multiple times. And then when they said that, it's like, duh. Right. But before you have the vocabulary to navigate it like calmly, right? Once you give a title to it and a name to it, then you could be like, I know what this is. All right, let me approach it from this perspective rather than being like, man, what's happening? No, we know what's happening. This is a repair stage. And because I've identified it as such, I know how to address it with calmly. You know what I'm saying? Because it can shorten that gap between break and repair. The better you are at repairing, you know what tools to, your tool bag is big, you know which one applies to what problem, then you can be like, boop, 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 we back to connection. You know what I'm saying?
That's
we
crazy.
want to stay in connection. Like, and niggas don't want to be in like connection, break. They
want to stay Wi-Fi up.
Repair, connection,
Yeah.
break. No, you want to be connection.
They want to
Okay. I love
break,
that.
repair, connection. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want it to be like a longer part of the wheel.
Now, I had never heard nobody break it down and articulate it the way that he did. So shout out to D Smoke, man. That made so much sense how he broke it down, because I try to explain to people that conflict resolution, you have to prevent problems from happening. And I try to explain it the best that I could, but I was never able to put the cycle, the connection, then something breaks the connection. And then you have to repair or fix the situation to be able to get reconnected again. And so when I posted this clip, I put in the caption, the three easiest ways for a woman to reestablish or strengthen her connection with her man is through sex/making love. If a man already cares about you and you have sex with him, it creates feelings and, things that nothing else can create. So that's the first thing that makes a man feel connected to his woman. Respect. Showing a man that you respect him and doing things to that show that you respect his thoughts and feelings is another thing. And then the last thing I would say is appreciation. Making a man feel appreciated for the things that he does for you, that he don't have to do. If you shower your man with those three things, you are going to have a man that is very interested in maintaining his relationship with you. And if he's a solid dude, we know what that comes with.
Yeah, no question. Man, he broke that down so great. And really, what he's breaking down is, basically problem solving. How to go about it, how to solve it. Because you know what? That's part of life here is problem solving, in just any relationship in general, right? Even at your job, when you go interview for a job, right? What do most jobs look for? How can you problem solve? How do you solve an issue? Do you have a solution to what their issue is in that position they're looking to fill here? So I think it's the same thing in a relationship, right? I think where a lot of us go wrong is, sometimes men's inability to problem solve, or sometimes the woman doesn't want to. I mean, that's just the way it goes at times.
Yeah, obviously a man could be part of the problem, but when you do have a guy, because one thing that I have noticed, guys that are actually husband material men and quality men, they usually don't have very many problems with other men. They have long-term friendships, long-term relationships with their male friends and whatnot, because for most male relationships, you don't really go around that circle. Like me and my best friend Corey, we ain't never fell out. You know what I'm saying? Like we lived.
That was the one from the army, right?
Yeah, we were in high school together,
I
went to the
remember.
army together, pledged together. You know what I'm saying? So we kind of grew up together. But we ain't never had no real falling out outside. You know what I'm saying? Like being, like just roommate mad at somebody.
Right.
And so you never have to really repair. I can't think of. I've had dudes that I cut off or I don't rock with no more, but isn't it? I don't have any of my close friends that I've had no conflict or no major issue with. And so I don't see that. Quality men don't really have those type of problems because they show respect. They know where the boundaries are and they kind of stick to them for the most part.
Yeah, no, I think and I think with men, it's a little bit different of how they can solve problems with each other, because most of the time they're gonna come, hey, at least two reasonable, like you said, the husband material men, right? Two reasonable men. It might not be a big deal, and they can come to each other, approach it, hey, listen, this is where I had a problem, or this is what, and come to some kind of resolution for the most part, right?
Right.
Now, some men, if they're kind of, if there's somebody that's kind of just an emotional based kind of man, everything is basically based in their emotions.
Very
It
problematic.
might not go that way.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's a misunderstanding or miscommunication. And so if you actually if your goal is actually to figure out what caused the problem so we can prevent it from happening again, if that's how you really approaching a scenario, then you're going to be listening and receptive and trying to find some type of way that, oh, you thought that I said yesterday and it was, what I'm saying? Like, how did we get here to this miscommunication? And so, a lot of times guys can't do that in real time because she's mad at you and she's telling you you did it on purpose and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you got to figure out, well, your text message said this. And so, so you can explain what you thought or what your the rationale behind your behavior or decision at the time that you made the decision or the choice. But a lot of guys don't have the skill to be able to do that in real time, which leads to a lot of the problems where he just shut the conversation down, say something that makes it worse, or reacts in a way that's unhealthy.
Actually, I want to ask you, like, I know you said, you've been in marriage counseling, pre-marriage counseling, prior to getting married and everything. Did something like this ever come up, like, as far as like, problem solving or conflict? I know you probably already had the tools prior to going into your marriage, but did this conversation ever come up during pre-marriage counseling?
Yeah. It listed the things that are necessary to maintain a healthy relationship. I mean, when we were going through it, before marriage, it was really kind of just a validation to me, like, oh, so like it was kind of, like I said, it's stuff that you already knew, but you just seeing it in writing and seeing it in the graph and having an official, having somebody of authority explain it to you really just kind of validated my approach to dating and relationships. Because like I said, I obviously knew how to keep things between me and a woman cool. You never gonna reach a whole phase if you can't do that. And then by the time we were getting married, we had already been kind of semi-living together for a year, some change. I'm paying the bills already, like, so everything was kind of flowing how it was gonna flow regardless. That's one of the things that made us kind of work so well as a couple. She was operating as an adult that was making her own money, paying her own bills, and I had been doing the same thing. So it's by the time we looked up, we were like, damn, we had family members living with us and doing all kind of stuff. Even in college, we were stable enough to where we could afford that. You know what I mean? Like, so it just kind of worked itself out to where we were on the same page, and I had figured that out kind of through our first date was really just a long conversation. You know what I mean? Like, where I had picked her up and we went to Wendy's drive-through, drove back to my apartment, and just really sat there and talked for about 4 hours. You know what I mean? But that was one of the most meaningful. We had known each other, so I had like I said, I shot my shot the first time I saw her. But that initial conversation, her dad being in the military, created a military connection. Like, just so many things. Both of us being the oldest child, this and that and that. Both of us, coming to college and then doing these different type of things. We had a lot that we had in common already. And so that just kind of laid the foundation to make sure. I didn't realize it at the time, but we were both on the same page long term, and I was able to figure that out kind of on our first date.
Wow.
All right, man, looks like we up against the clock. We about to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be getting into tonight's topic, Wired to Connect, where we were talking about how a lot of our behavior is centered around connecting with others and attracting the opposite sex. You are tuned into the How to Husband podcast. We'll be back in a minute. Hi, I'm relationship coach and author Terry Duran, and I am pleased to announce that my book, It's Not That Complicated, is finally available as an audiobook. So if you don't like to read, or you just don't have time to read a paperback book, this audiobook is perfect for you. You can listen to it while you're in your car, while you're at work, etc. In the book, I break down how husband material men think and operate in regards to sex, love, and relationships, and I provide real quality insight on how husband material men approach dating. The audiobook is available on audible.com and on iTunes. All you have to do is go to one of the websites and search for my name, Terry Duran. Go download your copy today. All right, everybody, welcome back to the hoetohusbandpodcast. Tonight's episode is titled Wired to Connect. And we're just talking about why so many things that we do are actually driven or fueled by our desire to be connected with others or attracting others. And I was thinking about this, man. If you had to put a number on it, like what percentage of our behavior would you say is focused around that? Because when I watch Animal Kingdom and stuff like that, a lot of animals, man, majority of their whole existence is about mating and meeting a mate and creating a family. So I was thinking about that, like, man, what percentage of that do you think applies to us?
How would
you
know
answer
what?
that?
I would say if I had to put a percentage on it, I'm going to say at least 70% of what we do is probably predicated on that, right? I mean, I guess the other 30 is predicated on our own things, but a lot of things that we do in this world is probably predicated on getting attention from the opposites. Think about it from how the way we live, how we dress, how we act, some of our behaviors. Both sexes, right? I think for the most part we try to look at what works, but what doesn't. If this isn't going to attract a lot of times out of 10, we're not going to do it, right?
Yeah, because you don't want to wear something or look a certain way that's going to create negative feedback or make you stand out in a negative way. But when you're on the hunt, or you're a single dude and you and your partner's going to the bar with that was my only really purpose for going out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I talk to people. I was like, I like deep down, I'm not really a party person like that. Like I would rather be at the crib. But that's where you see chicks dressed the best and looking for guys. And you back in our day, you got a chance to dance and grind and touch and all that.
Yeah,
so
dance
that's what I look forward to and all that in the club. And as a single man, that's kind of all you ain't really got no choice. So I was like, I talk all the time about how strategic where I'm gonna stand, where I'm gonna go, where I'm gonna be, how am I going to approach meeting as many chicks that I find attractive as I can. But the preparation for it, what you wear, your color coordination, what shoes you got on, all that stuff is done with chicks in mind. I want to look fly. I want a chick when I'm saying, like, you want to look a certain way. Now, I assumed all guys did that, but a lot of them don't. And those are the guys that ultimately struggle in the dating world, you know what I mean? But like for the guys that are actually adamant about having some level of success, you have to pay attention to that kind of stuff. Because ultimately, that's what projects that this is how me and my kids go. This is how my family gonna look. You know what I mean?
And I think what a lot of that goes to, I'm just gonna say for someone, I think it's just not having a self-awareness, right? I think if you're gonna be better at anything that you do in this world or in life, right, it starts with having a level of self-awareness, right? And so some guys just don't have the self-awareness, right? They just do certain things, and to them, there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so funny because in America, when you think about it, like, if women did not have the desire to make themselves more beautiful or sexually desirable, whatever phrase you want to give to it, women spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on all these beauty enhancements and all these type of things. So a large part of our economy would suffer or not exist if women didn't have that desire, whether they want to admit that it's to attract other people, or or not, whatever they are doing for myself and all that. But it's the same thing with guys, luxury cars, cologne, fitness centers, all this type of stuff that guys do. Man, some of it is competition. I want to show I can lift more or do more than another guy. But the side effect of that is most guys know that being fit or having some level of fitness is going to make you more desirable to women. You know what I mean? So none of that would exist if that wasn't the case.
Not at all here. I mean, it's like I said, the beauty process created millions of dollars. I mean, but if you think about it, go to any department store, right? Think about what they have in the women's section, what they have in the men's section. Even
It's always going to be more for women.
Yeah, even down to underwear. You go to, they have all types of different types of underwear. G-strings, yeah, bikini cut, right? The men's section, it's just boxes of briefs.
Yeah, I mean, but again, the things that it takes for a man to be attractive ain't that hard. It takes discipline, it takes some work, but it's once you get it, it's easier to maintain. That's why there ain't really no BBL market for men. Like men don't have no just shortcut where they can just go be fine all of a sudden. Spend $10,000 and now you all of a sudden fine. That don't work for me. But
it does.
For women,
yeah,
I was gonna say for men, it's mostly based upon their earnings. You know what I'm saying? Like, what path are they on as far as their trajectory on what they'll be earning as an adult? That's how most guys approach dating and are kind of valued in the dating market outside of looks. Like, yeah, you got to be cute enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be tall enough. But outside of that, your earning potential is really where guys can separate themselves and you know what I'm saying, create the move themselves up on the totem pole. But for women, it's largely predicated on their beauty level. And it starts really, really early for boys and girls. You know, we can identify who's gonna have dating success, you know, in kindergarten pretty much. The real little cute girl, the good, you know what I'm saying, like the fast athletic boy and this and that and that, the one that got that talk to the girls and make the girls laugh. Like you see separation in the kids very, very early, and you can identify the little boy that is gonna have hoes when he becomes a teenager. You know what I'm saying? Like I got a nephew that got curly hair, brown complexion.
Oh man,
like he gonna be killing it. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, for boys, you could definitely see the traits that'll set him up to have success with little girls. You know, you hear him, he gonna be breaking hearts, like, you know what I'm saying, woo, like, yeah,
you're gonna be trouble when you get older.
Yeah, it's very recognizable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, now there's always room. I think there's always room to improve. You know, as long as you're willing to learn. You know, some get it. You know, after the fact here. You know, after high school. You know, 20s, maybe even 30s in some cases.
Well, I mean, with what we're seeing on social media, I've been out the dating market so long, so to me it seems like a lot of these things are no longer applicable because everything has shifted to finances and what you can provide. So it's like once you know that survey SD did about a month ago where it was like one number, what type of person, 1 through 7 or whatever, where that kind of showed tall enough, he makes 6 figures, woo. That's if you can meet those thresholds, you will be able to get a decent looking woman. Now, what her mentality is like, what her behavior is like, is going to be a big decision on what you chose and what how thorough of a job you do in your dating decisions. But being able to attract those women, long as you ain't socially awkward or got nothing wrong with you, you should be able to. At least I would think so. But man, it's getting harder and harder.
It is. I mean, you do have. I mean, there's men in their 20s right now that are still virgins, believe it or not. I've heard these things here.
Yeah. I've read reports about the numbers of guys that haven't had sex within the past year and all that. Like, to me, when I read that, it was so unheard of. Yeah. Like a whole year with no sex. Like, and once you start having sex, I don't see how that was a thing. But you're right. It is the behaviors of society and men and women have drastically changed, and it's unfortunately, it's just gonna get worse and worse and worse because the opportunities to have one-on-one conversations are not there. Like, you know, we talk about the club situation where everybody's in a section. So you
Everybody's
really ain't getting
yep.
the opportunity. Yeah, you ain't really getting the opportunity to, if you ain't got no section and all that. But man, this is so, some assumptions are made on this observation. Me and my wife went out the other night, and we just sat at a little table, but it was a couple sections and whatnot. In one of the sections, we saw there was two old men. One old man had a walker sitting next to him, and in the section, it was like three young chicks. One was celebrating her birthday and twerking and dancing and this and that. And so it looked like the old men were there just financing the night, because one of the girls that was sitting next to the guy with the walker, she appeared to be taking one for the team, because the dude she was sitting next to him, and he's touching her leg and rubbing on her leg and stuff. And you can see she's like disgusted. She start doing the I got a headache motions. She start putting her hand in her head like she couldn't take it. Then she would just get up and go start dancing with her friends to try to avoid the dude. So me and my wife are laughing, like kind of just observing the situation. And then I just started thinking, like, man, from his perspective, he's winning. You know what I'm saying? Like, what else would he be doing with his money? I think it was Friday night. Like there's no other way you don't even get to touch and rub on no attractive 20-something-year-old chick without being the money. You know what I mean? Like, so
that's crazy.
No guy wants to be in that predicament. But if you a dude, like, cause was turned up, you know what I'm saying? Like, he was going so live.
He was having a time.
Like, oh man, he was living his best life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the girl was so miserable, and it was just like, damn, you know what I'm saying? Like you can't feel sorry for you, because you know y'all didn't pay for the section and the whole nine.
Exactly.
Because they, you know what I'm saying, enjoying it. And her friends, they never was coming to sit down and really interact with the dude. So you could tell that she's the one that had to kind of coordinate the situation and whatnot. But I was like, damn, I would hate to be that dude. You know what I'm saying? To where the only way you can really get chicks is to pay for it. But man, when I thought about it, man, our whole society been predicated on that. Prostitution, like, that's the oldest profession in the world. And the only time that I can say I actively participated was in basic training, you know what I'm saying? Where the whole city was kind of set up to take advantage of the soldiers.
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. Then too, it was like a massage. So I but yeah, in these military towns, you know, a lot of, you know, they know to get down in those towns. You know, the locals in those towns, they know to get down. So they know, hey, these dudes want to have sex, especially basic training. You ain't sexing in 2-3 months here. So he's trying to get away. Fair chance he get.
You want to know, like, just seeing that situation in basic training shows such a wide gap in between guys and their success with women. Because I was 17 at the time. And so me and Corey, we had already been, wingmen and then doing all this stuff, in high school together. So once they started allowing us to go out in the city and have passes, we was up, so we felt very, confident shooting our shot and hollering at girls.
Yeah.
And so, but man, the fact that they had, so you could pay $40 and get a hand job or get some type of sexual behavior. Man, the lame dudes that didn't have no success with girls, man, them boys went crazy. They started borrowing money to be able to go to the massage parlor. Said, loan me $60, I'll pay you back $100. Like they just couldn't, like they just maxed out all their money, overdraft and all this stuff to pay for the prostitution. And so to me, I was like, damn, that's a powerful thing. That's way more powerful than drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, so
That is.
just seeing how the guys that would have never been able to smash some type of chicks without paying for it, man, I put it in perspective for me. Like, man, that profession wouldn't be around that long if that wasn't the case. You know what I mean?
I mean, we're talking centuries long here.
Yeah, I mean, well, indirectly, a lot of the stuff that we do is predicated on our desire, you know what I'm saying, and sexual, you know what I'm saying, relations with a woman. Because just think about the difference between the stuff a guy will do or pay for a chick that he's smashing for somebody just random. You know what I'm saying? Like, in most cases, guys are willing to spend and do the most for the chicks that they currently smashing than they do for friends and family. You know what I'm saying? Like, outside of their own household. So that is a significant part of, you know, and like I said, when I be having these introspective thoughts, why did I have such a desire to get a good job or be six figures and all that? It's because I wanted to live the kind of lifestyle that was going to attract the type of chicks I like. You know what I'm saying? Like, dating me or being my woman, you're going to live in this kind of house, you're going to drive this type of car, we're going to live this type of lifestyle. And it's not off some scamming or some, you know, I live a stable lifestyle. I ain't in the streets. I ain't a gangster or nothing. So I'm building my lifestyle to have stuff to pass on to future generations and long-term stability. So that type of approach, or the things that attract those type of women, you know, those women are, you know, the percentage of them appears to be going down. But if you can find one that's on that same type of time, that ain't got too many kids, you know, there are other things that could possibly disqualify her, but that's your best chance, in my opinion.
It is, you know, and men have observed this for so long. They observe, you know, female dating decisions and figure out they're having money, or even just appearing to make it look like you have money, or giving off that illusion, you know, can guarantee ways to have success, at least in the short term, right? You know, there's some have the fake it till you make it mentality here.
The fuckboy playbook.
Yep, you put it on social media. Hey, I'm driving this car, but it was rented or something. You know, I
mean, well, just even in interactions with chicks, if your goal is only to get her say or do whatever it takes to get to smash her, then guys can use all you gotta do is listen to what she say about her ex. Oh, I would never do that. Oh, I can't believe he did that. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of game. And then tell her pander to her, tell her what she wants to hear until you get what you want. Because if you don't care about when she find out the truth, what different you hit already. You know what I'm saying? Like that's really their perspective on that. So you can do that over and over and over again. You can find out what she likes, tell her what she want to hear, impress her, make her think that you're gonna do X, Y, Z, and get what you want and dip. And so that if that's all you're trying to do, then that's why those guys can do it. And they can even do it on women that are out their league and out their caliber. You got a district attorney smashing a dope boy. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of stuff happens because
it does.
He know what to tell. He can tell her what she want to hear. And it's exciting, it's fun, there's a thrill that comes with it.
You know, think about this for a second. Even what's even crazy, right? Like female corrections officers are losing their jobs, you know, smashing the prison inmates.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. I mean, well, that's the men and women. The men are smashing the females. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that kind of goes both ways. But you would think a woman like, man, you can get dick from outside the jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that attention, that all those feelings and all that, and then they in there with dudes that got game. A lot of the dudes that are in prison or former dope boys or dudes that have had successful women on the streets. Like, so they know what to say and how to cater to a woman to make her desire them. And then, you know, one of the things that I learned and that actually kind of fuels the theory or on the correction officers is a man and a woman within 300 hours of being around one another the question of whether or not y'all are gonna have sex is gonna be answered directly or indirectly.
You know
And
what?
so just that whether coworkers, whatever the case
Yeah.
might be, that question is going to be answered, and you'll be able to know. And that was one of the things that stood out to me in the marriage counseling. Like, oh shit, I never thought about it like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, you know what? That's crazy. You said, and once you said that about 300, I thought of like coworkers. That's how a lot of times,
that's how it happens.
really
You
big
spend the
with
time around
each
them.
other.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you can when you're around somebody and you see them that much, you can see their growth, you can see their improvement. They can see the dude that started hitting the gym and went from 230 to now he's 200 pounds. Now his shirts fit different, and he, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
they seen his vacation pictures, they seen this and that. Like,
yeah, and you know what?
Go.
I mean, no, I'm saying, and we talk about this all the time. Like you say, spending all this time around, so even with a prison inmate, right? So that tension is there. Especially maybe you find the person attractive, right? You're like, damn. But and it's crazy. You talk about it makes it more exciting when you're doing something that's supposed to be forbidden or taboo. Where when you're becoming a professional, one of the first things they tell you is don't have a relationship with the inmate. Period, man or female, right? They tell you don't get involved.
But that's kind of
relationship, friendship.
Yeah, but that's not realistic. That's not practical for people that are gonna be seeing somebody every single day, because all it takes is happy birthday. You know what I'm saying? You learn, like just little stuff like that show that you actually paying. Man, where you was at, man? We was looking for you Monday. Oh, my daughter, this and that had to, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to tell the people that they actually respect and have some type of relationship with what happened or why. Man, I thought you know, like getting a promotion, just all the type of stuff that an inmate is gonna pay attention to regarding a correction officer is going to give them an advantage to be able to spark their brain.
Even in the military, right? How many times they tell us, or they tell the higher ups, don't have a relationship with somebody who's your support, but they've done it anyway.
Do it anyway.
Since the beginning of the military.
Human nature is human nature, man. You can't really control who you are attracted to. You know what I mean? Like I say all the time, you can just control how you respond to it. And so, again, like in my situation, man, I'm not trying to get exposed. I'm not trying to be put on blast. I'm not trying to be on Shade Room.
You ain't trying to be on the T-App either now.
So it makes it easy for me to not DM a chick or just try to, because like I said, with my job, and I got a company car, company cell phone, I'm in hotels, I got rewards points. I could get a chick a flight in that hotel to meet me somewhere if I wanted to. But all that created a trail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have emails and this and that and that. And like, man, it's too much that I could lose from doing all that for very short-term gain. So again, if I didn't have successful women before, I don't know if I would be able to have the self-control and the discipline now. You know what I mean?
And it's right, and it's so much easier to get caught, right? Nowadays, everything's on camera. Everyone everyone either has an iPhone or an Android, right? So, bam, people keep receipts, screenshots of text messages. They video recorded you. You paying for the plane ticket, or you in the hotel room. So that is almost
too
no way
much
around
going on, man. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm comfortable with my lifestyle and what I got going on, and I'm not trying to. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to be single in today's dating market, to be honest. It's
honestly too. Trust me, and today it's more. There's more confusion. It's just like you have more questions than answers here. You really got to learn how to navigate in today's day.
Yeah, man. The more I learn and the more I have these discussions, the more I'm good where I'm at. Let's get up out of here, man. Looks like we up against the clock. Before we go, I want to give another shout out to my man, Brother Soul Productions, for keeping us like our background music. I want to remind y'all to continue supporting the podcast or our Cash App and our PayPal. I'm looking forward to getting SD back on the next episode. We can chop it up for him. And I'm looking forward to this first NFL Sunday. So let's go get that popping. You have tuned in to the Husband Podcast, y'all. Peace.
Peace.